Basim, Ebne Ishaq. Are you ready to give up who you once thought you were?
I am.
Ready to sacrifice everything you held close?
I am.
Are you ready to leave your life behind and walk the path of shadows?
I am.
Then, out of the dark, you will come into the light. And from the light, you will return to the dark. Never forget the tenets you have sworn to uphold. Stay your blade from the flesh of the innocent. Hide in plain sight. Never compromise the Brotherhood. From this day forward, you are a hidden one.
لست إلا نقرة.
Welcome, Hidden One. You have died and been reborn.
We need to find a way to get you inside without being seen. You could bribe the guards to look the other way.
I shall see what flavor best suits me.
Embrace the fear. Quiet it. Find the stillness. And let's go. The stage is yours, Basim. We will be watching.
When we got the opportunity to work on the next game of the series, we sat down with the rest of the core team and asked ourselves, as fans, what kind of Assassin's Creed game we'd most want to play.
Many of us felt the desire to revisit some of the old imagery, narrative theme and gameplay that made us fall in love with the series.
After 15 years of journeys across the ages, from the Third Crusade with Altair to the Viking expansions with Ivor, we wanted to go back closely to where it all began and pay homage to the beginnings of Assassin's Creed.
Coming off Valhalla, we started to explore the idea of introducing a new playable hero, Basim, and creating an experience that is a love letter to the origins of the franchise. Coming-of-age story with revamped mechanics to bring the feel of the early games into the modern day.
We are going back to the Middle East, but this time in 9th century Baghdad. 300 years before the time of Altair, we are telling the story of Basim and how he became a master assassin.
We looked at the first AC games and started to wonder what exactly defined the assassin experience to us. And from there, we put all our effort into bringing our take on the assassin fantasy. As a Hidden One, parkour is a key pillar to the experience. With Baghdad as your playground, we are bringing the action back to a urban environment.
For parkour, we look to our previous games for inspiration and chose to put the emphasis on comfort and fluidity. In Mirage, parkour is easy to learn and to master. Our approach is closer to the Ezio games, where it's all about keeping the flow and the momentum going, with the design centered around verticality. Many elements from past games are making a return. We have the corner swing, the ability to vault over objects, elevators to quickly reach high ground, but also new ingredients, such as the pole vault, allowing you to cross large gaps between two rooftops. Of course, Basim is faster and more agile than Ivor was, and to give that feeling, we reworked our animations to reinforce the sense of speed when jumping, vaulting, and free roaming.
Streets are narrower, denser, and packed with obstacles to navigate. By choosing the right path through the environment, you can move from street level to the rooftops in a blink of an eye, a useful skill for any assassin.
Another core focus of Mirage is stealth. We want players to work in the shadows, plan their next move, strike, and then vanish. There are more ways to assassinate, with new killing animations, some leveraging a stealthy approach, others delivering a violent killing blow. We also have direct throwbacks to the first games with moves like the bench assassination that you might recognize from AC2, or the kill from the rooftop gardens, an old favorite of Altair's.
We want to encourage you to be sneaky. Basim has been trained to fight by the Hidden Ones, but for him, combat is a last resort and his main approach is to hunt and strike while remaining unnoticed.
We also reworked our enemy AI to improve detection and vanishing loops, making guard behaviors more responsive and readable. New enemy archetypes will also increase the stakes. The marksman can shoot your eagle and prevent you from using it. The spearman pokes through haystacks, and Hornbearer can call for reinforcements. That's where your assassin skills come in handy.
During his training in Alamut, Basim learns the ways of the Creed from his mentor, Roshan, and his fellow Hidden Ones. We get to see him learn the tenets and philosophies that will guide him through his missions, like hiding in plain sight.
Social stealth is making a return. We're bringing back the systemic blending with larger crowds that allow you to move undetected through the business location. But you can also bribe small factions with specific tokens in order to control AI groups and make your way through guarded areas.
As an assassin, your core mission is to track down and eliminate the Order of the Ancients and free Baghdad of their influence. In our game, the Hidden Ones have established a network of bureaus across the city to keep an eye on the Order.
The bureaus in Mirage act as gameplay hubs, from which you can take on side contracts with various objectives, from rescue missions to assassinations, and help the Hidden Ones in their fight for freedom.
We want you to feel truly immersed in the life of a Hidden One, investigating your target's identities, tracking their movements, and sharing information with your allies. Then, when the time is right, you can strike from the shadows. we've crafted a new investigation board which replaces our most recent quest log in Mirage.
And with our black box missions, we give you the freedom to approach key assassination missions however you see fit.
We know how excited our community is. We also have a nice surprise for our long-timers. We implemented a nostalgic visual filter as an option for those who wish to explore the game with a desaturated blue-grey color palette from the very first AC game.
This is a project led by a team of passionate people who have their very own vision of the assassin experience in mind.
There is much to come, and we can't wait to unveil more about Basim's journey.
What are you doing?
Don't think.
Time to put my medal on.
Fulath, tell Basim the story of the feather.
Our tradition of the feather comes from Egypt. The feathers of the heron were dipped in the blood of the targets. The feathers forge our paths, remind us of who we are, who we can be.
The Order has held dominion over men and their empires for centuries. Strike quickly and end this.
Swallow your questions, serve without complaint. Who is she to tell you when to strike?
Everything you do serves the Hidden Ones. That is a strange kind of freedom.
Whose neck to cut, I don't know.
You are not the first to walk the shadows broken. Pour your pain into the Brotherhood.
Whose side I'm on.
We are messengers of justice, and not the final judges.
So easily we're persuaded.
He knows not what he is. Have you not wondered at your nature?
When the lines are blurred and faded.
Basim is our main protagonist in Assassin's Creed Mirage. He's a fascinating character, one that fits the mold of classic assassin, deadly and resourceful with a complex personality. For that reason, we felt that Mirage needed to be a strong narrative-driven experience, one that would honor Basim as a character, surprise our players, and take them on a memorable adventure. We first met Basim during the events of AC Valhalla. Having traveled from the Middle East to England, he acted as a mentor figure for Ivor. But Basim had motives of his own, and his past was shrouded in mystery.
We knew early on that we wanted to explore a setting that was reminiscent of the first Assassin's Creed game. So naturally, we made the connection between the Golden Age of Baghdad and Basim. It was a great opportunity to show some of the events that came to define him as a person. Mirage is a completely fresh story. You can start the game without having played Valhalla or any of the other titles. But of course, for our most dedicated fan, there will be a lot of secrets, Easter eggs, and connections with past games and the overall lore of the series.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is set in 861 AD, 12 years before the events of Valhalla. We meet Basim in his youth, making a living as a thief on the streets of Anbar, near Baghdad, alongside his best friend and partner in crime, Nehal. As far back as he can remember, Basim has been haunted by visions and nightmares that he's been unable to understand. He's come to question who he is and where he belongs. Much to Nehal's frustration, Basim believes his destiny lies among the hidden ones.
Basim ends up at Alamut, the renowned assassin home base that at that time was still under construction. It's here that he learns the way of the assassins and becomes one of the hidden ones. Soon, he's tasked with tracking down the Order in Baghdad, kickstarting his life-changing journey.
Creating the character of Basim in Mirage was an interesting challenge. Having met him as an older man in Valhalla, we had to imagine what he would have been like in his younger years. Everybody in the team is a long-time AC fan. That's why it was so important for us to bring back that Levantine assassin look to Basim's costumes.
Crafting new visuals and stories around an existing character poses a unique challenge. It gives us room for nods to other entries in the series, pushes us to respect our legacy, while offering something fresh and exciting for our players. After becoming a hidden one, Basim inherits the apprentice outfit, a white robe with blue shades, and a small beaked hood. We found opportunities to connect Mirage to the wider franchise, such as the red sash wrapped around Basim's arm in Valhalla. In Mirage, we learned that it was a symbol of the rebellion, an item worn by many of our side characters, and something Basim chose to keep with him years later.
There are several levels of conflicts in our story, from the one in the city arising from the Zend rebellion to Basim's internal conflict as he's torn between his roots and his destiny, between his old friends like Nehal and his new comrades like Roshan and the Brotherhood. As Basim fights to free Baghdad from the Order's oppression, he begins to ask questions about himself, his past, and the meaning of freedom.
The story of Mirage follows Basim's evolution from apprentice to mentor, a journey that is reflected in the game systems. There is no XP-based progression in Mirage, instead, progression is linear and story-driven. As you follow the story and complete missions, your rank increases within the Brotherhood, giving you new opportunities for missions, outfits, and tools.
We have new tools that can be upgraded and customized for Basim, giving him a deadly and effective assassin's toolset. When fully upgraded, these tools can allow for some interesting and unexpected gameplay strategies. We crafted a range of different outfits for Basim, so you can make the character feel personal to you. We're also bringing back a fan favorite feature, Outfit Dye, which you can use to change the colors of certain outfits just like you could in AC2 or Brotherhood. Combat has been revamped as well, with new moves and mechanics built specifically for Basim. Much like Altair, Basim's primary combat tools are his sword and dagger. For the animation team, our goal was to create an agile master assassin who's as elegant as he's deadly.
An assassin focus allows you to slow down time and perform a deadly kill streak. But be careful, you'll want to pay attention to where you will end your last move to avoid unexpected fights.
Basim feels different from Eivor. The focus on one main weapon, his sword, allowed us to put all of our intention into developing an agile character who's intuitive to control. Of course, that also means that the combat will come with bigger challenges, higher stakes, and a greater reliance on tools to escape tricky situations.
From his story to his appearance to character progression, we designed Basim as a fresh twist on the classic assassin archetype.
We hope you are as excited as we are to take the first steps on Basim's journey.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is set in 9th century Baghdad, at a time when the city had grown to become one of the biggest, richest, and most advanced in the world. The Abbasid Empire, the largest of its time, reached from modern Algeria to present-day India. It's also a time of scientific discovery that left a strong impact on our modern cultures.
We started our research on Baghdad very early on, and the more we learned, the clearer it became that this city was a perfect setting for our game. At the time, Baghdad was the center of the world, a vibrant, lively city, and one that would make the perfect playground for the aspiring assassins. Rebuilding Baghdad was not going to be an easy task though. Unlike previous Assassin's Creed games, almost nothing from the time period has survived to the present day. But we still wanted to be sure to do everything we could to be respectful of the culture and history of the city. That's the Assassin's Creed way.
We had to give our art team the freedom to recreate Baghdad from scratch with nothing but the historical information we had from the time period. Like Guy Lestrange's books, Baghdad during the Abbasid Caliphate, but also description by medieval travelers, archaeological findings from neighboring cities, and other buildings from the time that are still standing.
But we weren't alone on this journey. We worked with experts, like Dr. Claire Anderson, specialist in Islamic art and history during the Caliphal period, who helped us with the world art, or Dr. Raphael Whelan, Ubisoft Montreal historian.
9th century Baghdad is a lost city, a city that we reconstructed using text and archaeology. From this material, the team created 4 major districts, defining the city, each with distinct looks and crowds. Abbasiyeh is the cultural hub of Baghdad, where you can find the House of Wisdom. This is where scholars, philosophers, scientists, and astronomers gather and transmit knowledge from the entire empire and beyond. The market district of Kach, where large crowds gather to do business, bargain, or trade goods from China, Constantinople, and Spain. The industrial district of Arbiyeh is a dense, grimy part of the city, where slavers, orphans, thugs, and workers try to scrape a living. And finally, at the center of it all, we have the seat of power in the region, the iconic round city, also known at the time as Madinat al-Salam, the city of peace. Behind its walls lie lush gardens, fountains, and a magnificent Caliphal palace.
I saw Baghdad as a child without ever going back. So, seeing the city come together from its first white blocks to the final assets was an unforgettable experience. I remember having chills the day we added the correct lighting, seeing the sky, the dust in the atmosphere, the sun and shadows.
From dusk to dawn, we put a great care into making each hour of the day feel distinct so we could really immerse players in the world. And if you pay attention, you can even hear the adhan, the Muslim call to prayer as you approach a mosque.
We're not just exploring a new setting in the Assassin's Creed universe, we're also going to give players the chance to meet some of the key figures in Baghdad at the time. Authenticity and accuracy are always important to us whenever we deal with real-life historical characters, and it's no different in Mirage. We have the Banu Musa, genius inventors of the era, who made massive contributions to the science of mechanics. Of course, in Mirage, they'll be putting that knowledge to use to help Basim and the Hidden Ones.
When most players think of Baghdad, they imagine the dusty, ruined landscape from movies and first-person shooters. But we felt it was important to show a different side to the city, one that celebrated its proud cultural heritage.
The Tales of Baghdad are short, narrative side quests, touching on key cultural subjects from the time period, like astronomy or literature. We also created the History of Baghdad feature, designed as a throwback to the original codex from the first Assassin's Creed games. Players will have a chance to explore the game world, to learn more about the people, landmarks, and events essential to Baghdad's history. It felt important to share the historical knowledge that went into the making of the game and to accompany the player in their discovery of the city. We crafted the content with historians and local experts to help tackle some common cliches about the region and its culture.
We're recreating the bustling, urban feel of the original games. We have larger crowds in Mirage, which offer more opportunities to blend in at street level, especially in dense areas like markets. With Baghdad being home to multiple religions and cultures, You'll see the diversity in clothes, languages, and iconography.
Baghdad is not the only location you'll be able to explore in the game. We have a great diversity of biomes around the city, each with their own unique look and feel. And of course, we have the home base of the Assassins, set at the bottom of the fortress of Alamut, a unique location in our lore and one we can't wait for players to discover.
When we first announced the game, we had so many enthusiastic reactions from players all around the world, particularly players from the Arabic world, and with Arabic heritage, which made us especially proud.
We can't wait for you to explore the beautiful world we have recreated when you join Bassem on his upcoming adventure.
كم مضى منذ رحيلك عن بغداد؟
أعوام لا أذكر مقدارها. كنت أعرف دائما أنني سأعود يوما ما.
لقد عاد للتو من قبل. كنا في المتجر ولذا
قضيت الكثير من طفولتي في هذه الشوارع. لطالما كنت أستمتع بهذا المكان. كنا نتسلل إلى بيت الحكمة في صغرنا أنا وصديقتي نهال.
السلام عليكم.
ذكريات جميلة صارت كريهة الآن. قلبي يتألم لما حدث لهم. وها أنا ذا مستتر يتهيأ لإعادة النور إلى أحلك أركان المدينة. إني أبعد نصلي عن الأبرياء وليس عن تنظيم القدماء. لننهي هذا الأمر.
How are you feeling?
Ready to make the leap.
It is time, Bassem. We work in the dark to serve the light.
news? Is it all just a mirage? Is it just a mirage?